Puerto, Penasco, a small, friendly, and relaxed community on the Gulf of California in Mexico, is only one of many hundreds of fishing ports around the world where the quality of life, good or bad, is tied to the sea.
There are 20,000 miles of desert seacoast in the world, essentially uninhabited due to a lack of fresh water. For thousands of years, man has dreamed of making the deserts bloom by desalting the oceans. Here, the two universities, the University of Sonora and the University of Arizona, are taking a different approach. We're taking the animals of the sea, bringing them onshore, placing them in controlled environments, and by doing this, creating an entirely new form of agriculture, one that we think will make a major contribution to the world's food supply in the future. The creation of this new form of agriculture requires a massive research and development effort. The first thing we've had to do, of course, is identify the animal that we'll start with. We've selected Penaeid, or saltwater shrimp. Then we've divided the research program into three areas: engineering, nutrition, and pathology. In engineering, we have a very sophisticated program to provide an optimum environment for the shrimp to grow in. We start with a saltwater well. We have to have a source of clean, pure seawater, and so we use a saltwater well to provide us with a natural, large sand filter. Once the water is inside of the controlled environment units, we have to monitor it even more carefully because of the very large number of shrimp that are having a negative effect on the water. To be economical, we have to grow a high density of shrimp in a limited area. We monitor the oxygen levels on an hourly basis, and on a daily basis we make sure that such things as ammonia are maintained at a level below a critical toxic value. The nutrition section is responsible for the most important variable, at least from an economic standpoint, and that is the feed for the shrimp. When we started, we thought it would be a relatively simple task. We assumed that if we ground up shrimps, they must be made of what they eat, and therefore we'd know what to feed them. It turned out to be a much more complicated problem. We had to develop a feed that's stable in the water, that's nutritious for the shrimp, and finally that's economical so we can afford to feed it. We have prepared now over 500 different experimental feeds. These feeds are made up of literally thousands of components that we've evaluated. The pathology section has the ultimate responsibility of keeping the shrimp alive. Obviously, if they don't live, everything else is academic. We have crustacean pathologists, microbiologists, chemists, all concentrating on the health status of the shrimp. Fortunately, there are no diseases that shrimp have that are transmitted to humans, but unfortunately, shrimp do have diseases. Most of these are handled by correct prophylactic techniques, that is, by providing the right diet, the right environment, etc. However, if a disease does develop, the pathology section has to be ready with a disease treatment program. Shrimp are inspected daily from all of the raceways and their health status determined. We have achieved what we think is a major breakthrough. We no longer have to go offshore and be fortunate enough to find a female that's ready to extrude viable eggs. By holding a selected population of male and female shrimp in special environmental chambers in which we control the light, water quality, temperature, a special feed, we can obtain copulation of the shrimp essentially on demand. One of our large hatch tanks will provide 500,000 shrimp every 2 weeks. After about 4 months in the production area, when the shrimp are ready for harvest, the harvest process itself is relatively simple. The shrimp at that time have reached a stocking density of about 4 kilograms per square meter. This is many hundreds of times that density which would be found in the open ocean. By scheduling the harvest of the controlled environment shrimp to be at a maximum during the summer months, when the natural harvest would be closed to protect the offshore population, employment can be provided to the community. These people would normally be out of work during this time of year. In fact, the whole process from production through packing can be more or less labor-intensive depending upon the social objectives to be met. In a capital-rich country, the entire process could be automated. In a developing area where employment is a major goal, it can be relatively labor-intensive.
This new technology is going to help fill the gap between what the sea can provide and what the world needs. The careful coordination of the production of a controlled environment facility with seasonal catches will mean more regular employment in fishing communities and will strengthen their economies.